way too early college football
too
time.
early.
We are back. Last week we
back.
talked about way too early
back,
NFL rookie position rankings. You guys love those videos, and so there's nothing more we like talking about than football.
Yeah.
And so we're like, you know what? Let's just lean into way too early rankings. This week we are doing way too early top 10 college football team rankings for next season. We're going to get into player rankings. We're going to get into fantasy for NFL. We're gonna get into everything. But for now, we're covering just overall all of college football, top 10 teams post spring portal and spring practices. As of today, how do we think they stand up? So I'm pretty excited about this. I know Ryan's probably feeling pretty good. I mean,
I'm stoked.
You're
I'm ready to run it back.
You're coming off.
I'm ready to run
the
that shit
national
back.
championship.
I want people to talk about it more. Let's get it going.
All right. Well, I will kick us off. My number one team going into next year,
Wonder who this could be.
the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
what. No, this is scaring me a little that it's becoming kind of a consensus take. I've seen multiple big college football names actually put them one or two on all these lists, but I think it's completely justified. If you want to go off of what you've seen the last 3 years, that's fine. And you can say, they haven't won anything the last 3 years. We were severely handicapped by a couple huge recruiting misses, bad recruiting classes, and, just general coaching mistakes when it came to promoting from within the program after we lost Venables. But this upcoming year, we did one of the biggest moves Dabo's ever done, and it's go and get a defensive coordinator that was not from within the program. He did it with Garrett Riley a couple years ago. Looks like it's finally starting to pay off. We went and got Tom Allen from Penn State, who's absolutely crushed on the defensive side everywhere he's been. He's from Indiana. They had a great defense. He left to become Penn State's defensive coordinator, developed Abdul Carter into the number one overall edge rusher in the draft, and their defense was elite last year. We talked about it all season. So he's coming back, and he's going to get to pair up with Peter Woods, TJ Parker, two of the top 3 defensive players projected into next year's draft, 6 projected first-round draft picks on this Clemson team. Cade Klubnik, top 3 in Heisman rankings, and we're bringing back the highest percentage of starters of any team in all of college football. So I'm really, really liking the way our team stacks up for next year. After next year, there might be a mass exodus similar to like what we saw from Ohio State. But this year's all that matters. I think for this year, things stack up really well, and I like the way our schedule looks. Number 2, seems like everyone's off this team, but I have Georgia. Everyone's off Georgia. They left a bad taste in their mouth. Their quarterback, Carson Beck, leaves for Miami. Gunnar Stockton didn't look fantastic. They lost to Notre Dame, didn't win a playoff game last year. Everything about Georgia just seems a bit off, but it's Georgia. And in the SEC this year, the quarterback situation is completely unknown, if we're being honest.
It's trash everywhere.
No one knows what's happening. Every team lost a quarterback and got a new one. So it's like no one knows who they're going to be, but I think we saw what Gunnar Stockton could be. And I think he could be a really good quarterback for them.
Good college quarterback.
They could not run the ball last year. They went out and got a lot of linemen. They have a couple of running backs that are really high recruits that are going to get shots this year. I think they'll run a committee. I think they figure that out. I don't think there's a world Kirby Smart goes into another season not able to run the football at all.
Yeah.
And I really, really just, in a quarterback uncertain era, like a quarterback that's played a college football playoff game. He has that experience. Fair. He's bouncing back from it. I have Georgia at 2. Number 3, you guys are going to hate this. I have Notre Dame. Notre Dame, coming off college football playoff appearance, they lost their quarterback in Riley Leonard, who I think was a huge part of that team, but they're replacing him with CJ Carr at quarterback. 4-star, 37th overall prospect in his class 2 years ago. Really, really highly recruited guy from all the top schools. He's going to get to step in and take the spot. There was supposedly a quarterback competition in the spring with Angeli, the guy that came in to back up Riley Leonard. He left after 1 week. After they left. Apparently, it was completely done. Jeremiah Love, the best running back in college football, is returning. They're returning a lot of production on the offensive line and defensive side of the ball. And I really like what Marcus Freeman has, like momentum-wise, culture-wise with this program. Schedule is super easy, too. They're definitely going to be in the college football playoffs, likely a top 6 seed, probably going to get a bye. Well, or not a bye, but really favorable matchup like last year. We'll see what happens. Number 4, Ohio State. Obvious questions across the board at almost all positions, besides receiver. Receiver's the best in college football. They lost basically everyone. If you look at receiver and safety, those are the only 2 spots you have bona fide studs in. Running backs, they lost both running backs, new quarterback, basically new, I think, both tackles and center, almost completely new defensive line.
Center didn't play all last year, but
This is the guy that was there last year. Is he coming back?
yeah.
Okay, never mind. I don't know why. Maybe it was guard then. I don't know. I see you had someone. It might have been guard, but pretty much refreshing everyone. But that shouldn't be a problem for them.
Nope.
I think Julian Sand will be fine. Week 1's going to be an interesting game because it'll be his first college football game against a really good team, which I'm about to talk about next. But I think they'll be totally fine. I have them at 4. Just a lot of unknowns. Not as much returning for next year that we know, but Ryan Day looks like he has this program on lock. Number 5 is Arch Manning. Basically Arch Manning. It's Texas. I love Arch Manning. Lost a shitload of players just like Ohio State did, but really leaned on the portal. Like really, really heavily. Brought in a really good portal class. Probably the best linebacker in the country coming back, and Colin Simmons. Really, really like him. And so I think you'll be just fine. And I think Texas at 5 is probably a pretty safe spot for where we're sitting at now. 6, I'm actually just going down the line here. LSU. Garrett Nussmeier's in that convo for best college quarterback. Super dependent on the portal as well. Brought in the number 1 portal class. And I think their offense is going to be elite. You always refill at wide receiver. And who's your defensive end? His name's
Harold Perkins.
Harold Perkins senior year. Yeah. So maybe he, lives up to what we thought he would be as a freshman. And then 6 through 10 will kind of run off. Penn State, Drew Allar, going to win a lot of games with that schedule. Only 2 hard games are Oregon and Ohio State. I think their team's going to be pretty good. They stole the defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, from Ohio State, so it should be, a pretty decent replacement. I just don't trust Penn State. I have to put them there for what they're bringing back, but their wide receiver room it didn't look like it improved much, and they weren't really able to throw the ball come the postseason, so I don't like them to win the Natty. 7, I have 8, I have South Carolina. I think Lenore Sellers is the truth, and they probably have, in my opinion, the most dangerous edge rusher in all of college football, and Dylan Stewart, coming back as a sophomore. Fringe college football playoff team last year, and they lost a lot of guys to the draft. So this could be a really bad take. I think they could definitely be in the top 7, but they could also be 20, 21 just because it's a lot of new pieces. I think South Carolina is going to have to prove a lot early, but if they do, Lenore Sellers might be the Heisman. I mean, he could have one of these Cam Newton-esque seasons. And last 2, Alabama, you had to throw him in there. Ryan Williams, still him. Ty Simpson at quarterback. Question mark, really high prospect. They're going to have some stud running back that just emerges and becomes a really high draft pick, and their defense is good. And last, I have Miami. I think Carson Beck's a huge addition. They got really slept on. I kind of dove into Miami about what they brought in on the defense. New defensive coordinator, brought in a bunch of players, top 3 portal team, spent a bunch of money on recruiting. Their O-line should be like 1 or 2 best in the country. They have almost all 5 stars on their offensive line. They've been in the last 3 years. That's the only good recruits they get. And their schedule is not easy, though. They play Notre Dame, Florida, Louisville, SMU, and Syracuse. So they really might end up underachieving, but I think the upside for this team is really big. If they fix that defense in the ACC and have Carson Beck throwing the ball like he was a year or 2 ago, I mean, this Miami team could score 50 points a game. And then 2 honorable mentions that this is not my top 10, just teams that are probably not going to be ranked, but might end the season ranked. Georgia Tech, Haynes King's coming back, one of my favorite quarterbacks in college football. Jamal Haynes, freak of nature at running back, and should have beat Georgia the end of last year. And then Colorado, no one's going to talk about them without Shedeur and Travis Hunter. They brought in a shitload of players in the portal, a lot of 4- and 5-star former players. So want to just keep an eye out for them. But Ryan, I'm sure your list is pretty different.
Oh, that's a Johnson right there. Number 1, easy, Ohio State. Well, not even, I know you brought up a point about we lost to a lot of people. We do it every year. We have the best drafts every year. And to be honest, this is the first year ever in college football where I think all the teams stayed pretty stagnant. I didn't see many teams get better or worse. Like, Georgia could be a little better. Like, Penn State seems the same. Like, all these guys, Notre Dame, I think got worse. Like, all these teams that were in the playoffs, I don't think got that much better. So if we got a little bit worse, in my opinion, we were so much better than everyone else last year. We're still number 1. Number 2, I have Penn State.
Whoa.
I think they have the easiest schedule this year out of almost every team. They only have to play Ohio State, I'm pretty sure.
In Oregon.
And Oregon.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But they have the best running back room in the country, in my opinion, by a mile. They kept both Singleton and Katron Allen.
Yeah.
Drew Allar will take a step up. Everyone loves him for the NFL draft for some reason. So I like Penn State. And they got Jim Knowles, who made us the best defense in the country by like a mile. So
yeah, it was a good replacement.
Love this.
I'm shocked he left Ohio State.
He just wanted he wanted his own name, I think.
Got more
to be a
money,
part of
but
something,
yeah.
Number 3, I have Georgia. I think they take a big step up this year. I think people are sleeping on how good Kirby Smart is and how good this team is always going to be.
Yeah.
They might regress, but I think college football as a whole is spreading out a little bit. It's not as just dominant up top, so it's hard to stay that good. But I like Georgia sneaking in there, being my top 3. My next one's Texas. I really tried to mess around because I'm not all in on Arch Manning, but this team is way too stacked to not, I would just be stupid or stubborn to not put him in my top 5, in my opinion.
What's the NIL budget they had? What was it?
40 mil.
Yeah,
40 million for
which
this
is-
year
which
before
is
the cap
double
comes
the
in.
amount of last
Crazy.
year. So
Insane.
absurd. Have to have talent on the roster. It's unbelievable. Number 5, I have Clemson. All I've been hearing is how much they have, how good they're going to be. I still have to see it to like understand it, but I do feel like the ACC regressed a lot. They lost a lot of players. Like I don't think Miami's going to be as good without Cam Ward. I know you think they're going to be good. SMU took a little hit on their defense and some wide receivers, and I don't think they'll be as like surprising. People will know them now, so I think they'll walk through the ACC and probably be top 4 seed. And number 6, surprising one, I have Oregon.
Whoa.
I just think this team is very talented, especially on the defensive front. They had a lot of young guys. I actually think Dante Moore is going to be really good. I know.
Yeah, see, that's where
I know.
they lose me.
No, I hated Dante
That's
Moore.
why I didn't have him in
I
my
hated
top
Dante
10.
Moore, but then he transferred, and so he's got that swag to him. I don't
Look
know
at
how to
Intern
describe
Johnson
it.
back
Like,
there
oh, he hates Dante
from
Moore.
UCLA.
But yeah, I don't know. I have a weird like feeling in my stomach that he's going to be good. But also, Oregon as a team is very talented. Like around them, they have Evan Stewart coming back, going to be one of the best wide receivers. Number 7, I have Bama. They were barely missed the playoffs last year, and they had one of their worst years ever. I don't see them doing that again. This is second year for DeBoer, so I think that he'll bounce back. I do like Ty Simpson. Obviously, Ryan Williams should be generational. So I think they'll bounce back. I think they made the college football playoffs, have a good run. Number 8, I have Illinois. They have actually the easiest schedule. I actually think they don't play Oregon or Penn State. They only play
Whoa.
Ohio State. So that's a lock. Last year they had 9 wins. They're a lock for 10 or 11 wins this year, in my opinion. They're bringing back Altmaier. I think
I gotta pull up.
Shout out Altmaier.
I gotta
love
pull
it.
up this schedule.
No,
Yeah.
he's right. They have the
sure.
fourth.
No, I'm sure
fourth,
they do. I just wanna see it.
Yeah, he wants to see
easiest.
it.
That's
I
crazy.
think.
Illinois is always me. I was joking with Mario earlier. I was like, this is just always the 23rd ranked team.
no, they always
yeah.
so they're always because they have to play the Big Ten gauntlet, the top
Alright.
3, whatever it is. They don't have to do it this year for the first time ever.
For viewer discretion, they play Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana, SC, Purdue, Ohio State, Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Cake
only hard
walk.
game is like Ohio State. Maybe if you want to say
no, this will be the generational Indiana 2.0, where the team plays
Okay.
nobody. They're not good, and they make it somehow in the college football playoff.
hot take. I like it.
I'll take my number 9 is LSU. I'm a big guy. If you have a quarterback that's good, he could take anyone anywhere. LSU's just been kind of weird for me. I feel like without the quarterback being amazing, their team hasn't been like
Well, Mario will tell you.
spectacular.
He'll tell
No,
you
I
why
know.
in 2 words.
No, I know. He knows. But yeah,
a
I just
terrorist
think,
as a head
No, I don't like bringing his name up. I find it disrespectful to my friend to bring his name up on the pod. But yeah, terrible coach. But I like LSU making a stay. And my 10 is South Carolina. I think they're like Tyler said, they're the biggest what if.
Yeah.
They could do crazy things, or they could be nothing. They're kind of between. Lenore Sellers could go nuts. My honorable mentions: Arizona State. They did it last year. They almost upset Texas. They should have upset
Shout out
Texas.
Kenny doing it.
They're bringing back an insane 1-2-3 or punch with Sam Levitt and their Tyson. So I think they're going to be perfectly fine. And they're also in a weak division with BYU. So
Yeah.
I just think that for me, it's just going to be too easy for them to get through. And then my other honorable mention was Notre Dame, because I just think I was wrong about how much Riley Leonard was important to that team last year. You're going to see it huge this year, how important he was, especially on the ground. There was no quarterback that could run the way he did or near the way he did. I don't think Carr will be able to do
No,
anything
their
like
offense is
it.
going to have to look a lot different.
So I think it's going to be interesting. But yeah.
That's a good point. Mike, I want to hear you go last because I'm assuming it'll be a nice Texas take to end the show.
Of course.
Mario, why don't you go ahead and give us your top 10? I like Illinois in there. I didn't even think about
Let me
it.
see LSU.
I think
number
they end
one
at
for
23.
Mario.
I don't
I
care.
know, I
about
like
schedule.
23.
End them at 23.
Sure.
Let me see Mario put LSU over.
I'll start off with the honorable mention before I get into the top 10.
honorable.
I got to throw this team out. I don't think they're going to be the 11th best team, but I just feel like they could be a very surprising team. And it's going to make intern Johnson happy. I'm going to just shout out UCLA.
No way.
Just because, you never know.
With Nico?
With Nico, you never know. It is a
I
big
love
addition.
Nico, but
That's
No, it's a
not
big
gonna
addition.
happen.
I'm just saying, like,
That's
this team.
that's
crazy.
not-
I gotta see their
that's-
schedule.
that's
in the
not
Big
gonna
10?
happen.
No. The team.
They
I
have
said
the
it's not-
hardest schedule in the Big Ten.
Let me see.
They do.
I'm
They have
pulling-
the
I'll pull it
hardest
up
schedule.
real quick. This is who they play. They play.
It's a hard schedule.
It's the hardest.
It's very hard.
They play
just read it
Utah, UNLV, New Mexico, Northwestern, Penn State, Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington,
USC.
SC.
Yeah, I mean,
dude,
dead.
UNLV is going to be
Dead in
top
the water.
20 also.
Dead in the water.
No, they
Not
could be
as
on.
hard as I thought.
Really?
Dead in the water.
I'm just saying, Nico. Like, I don't know if he just
They'll
balls
win,
out.
They'll win 3 games.
It's college football. Like, it's not the NFL. Like,
No, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Like, we saw Cam Newton just single-handedly lift Auburn. I'm not saying Nico's that special, but
I'm
I'm just
waiting
saying
to hear
like,
that team
he
get
could
mentioned.
he could ball out and just like surprise a lot of people. So and I had to do it for intern Johnson.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. Number 10, I have SMU.
Wait, we're going backwards.
Start with number 1.
Yeah,
Start with number 1.
Yeah. Or you can start 10. I don't really care.
You start with 10.
The list is going to show all at the same time. So
Yeah,
you can see
it's
it.
all going up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Number 10, I have SMU just because, again, in college, I think quarterbacks are so important. They brought back a lot of the key pieces they had last year, most notably Kevin Jennings.
That's
I think
a dog.
He got some playoff experience, had a really tough road game at Penn State. I think you learn from that. You build off that. You have a lot of momentum going into this season. Number 9, I have Oklahoma.
I love that.
Just because I love Mateer. Mateer is just,
That's my dog.
I can't wait to bet every Oklahoma
James
Over.
James
Over.
One of the best running backs they got, too.
And
Yeah, Cowboy.
I don't know his first name,
Ain't
but
no
Jaden-
love in
James
Oklahoma.
James Ott.
Jaden.
Or
Jaden?
Jaden Ott.
Yeah.
Jaden Ott, yeah. He was a stud. They brought him in as well. Got some good transfers. Brent Venables is coach. I don't know. Could be a big season for them.
Tough schedule.
Loser rules.
Yeah.
Tough schedule.
Whatever.
Tough schedule.
No, they got a tough.
I mean, if they run that schedule, they win 9
They
games
won't.
with that schedule.
I'll
They're
be
a
blown
lot.
away.
They'll be the first 3-loss playoff
They
team,
won't.
100%.
Yeah.
That's not large.
Number 8, I have Notre Dame.
I like that.
It's tough because they lost Riley Leonard, but I still think the rest of the team is good enough to still be a solid team. In my personal opinion, I kind of agree with Ryan. Thought Riley Leonard was that X factor that took him over the edge to where they could like really compete against anyone. Now I feel like they're just a solid team, and you'd have to catch a team on like an off day for them to
Yeah.
really beat one of those top dogs. Number 7, I have Alabama. Kind of what everyone said.
Yeah.
I mean, they always recruit top 3. Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams, DeBoer, second year to really apply his system. So I think they'll bounce back.
He gets
this year.
his class. It's his recruiting class now. too,
exactly.
Which is always a
Finally.
big thing.
Number 6, I have Penn State. I think Drew Allard is talented. Still have a little bit of questions about him in big moments, but still, I mean, this Penn State team's going to be good. Had to throw him in at 6. Number 5, I have Georgia. I could have ranked them higher. I'm just like unsure. Gunnar Stockton could be good. I don't know, but nonetheless, I think they're going to be better than last year for sure.
I
don't
agree.
think Kirby Smart. They've been in kind of a weird funk the last 2 years. I think they really turned it up a notch this year. Number 4, I have Clemson. Lot of
Go Tigers.
a lot of transfers, a lot of players returning. Cade Klubnik, everyone's projecting him to be potential
God.
Heisman. So
Maybe 1 overall.
yeah, exactly. They're talking. I don't know. The Clemson,
Jesus.
the Clemson talk is really scaring me.
The
'cause I-
propaganda is going crazy.
Because I was
right
like,
now.
oh, they're a top 10 team. Everyone's like consensus. I'm saying now
3.
number like 1 or 2, and I'm like, what's going on here? Do they know something I don't?
We're
So,
back.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
all- we're back. Shout out Dabo. I never doubted you.
oh,
Maybe
God.
Clemson.
I never doubted you.
Number 3, I have Ohio State. I just think, they finally did it. They finally won. Ryan Day actually got over the hump. Now he has a team to kind of
Certainly
build off
did.
of that. I just think they take a slight step down just because they had a lot of good experience, a lot of seniors last year. I think that just helps a lot in college football. It was a good mix of young players and leadership from the seniors. So we'll see how they do, but I think nonetheless top 3 for sure. Number 2, Arch Manning in Texas. Not much to say.
Okay.
Yeah, Arch Manning I think is going to be special. His last name is Manning.
Yeah.
He is Anakin Skywalker.
He's got wheels.
No, they don't miss. Like
They
the
don't
Mannings don't
wheels.
miss.
So yeah, I not
He's
much
got
to say
aura.
there. And then number 1, obviously, had to ride with my team. Go Tigers, LSU.
Do we
I
all
think
put our
Wait,
teams
is that
as our
like an
number 1?
actual take though?
number 1? I actually really 100%. No, I actually really do like our team this year for the simple fact that we brought in a lot of transfers in positions that we needed, but then also at the same time we still have a lot of players returning. Like we have Harold Perkins, we have Garrett Nussmeier, we have players that are like seniors, and I think seniority in college football and that experience really helps a lot. You saw it last year with like Ohio State. They had a good mix of like transfers, young players, and seniors. So I don't know. I think it's just like a good mix this year. I think our team's going to be really strong, better than last year. Are we the best team? I don't know. We'll see.
Tough schedule.
Still have Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
All right, we don't have to talk about it. And Mike, we're getting to you. Go in any order you want. Start at
Ooh,
5,
baby.
go down, then go up after. I don't care.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Go back
I'm going
to-
to start with my team, Texas, of course, number 1 in the nation, baby. Best off-season recruiting for the upcoming class.
That's crazy.
Hit the transfer portal unbelievably hard and very well. We lost a lot of people, but we also have a lot of returning great top-tier vets. Anthony Hill, Jelani McDonald, Arch Manning is finally taking over, who I guess you can kind of call a vet. Deontay Moore. I mean, we got them all. The thing is, like the real glaring factor about Texas right now is going to be that offensive line. Pretty much the only returner is Trevor Gooseby, and he's a beast, but he's a sophomore, and so he's really the only
Did you get
experience
a
we
lot
have
of
there.
transfers, or are they all young?
It's mostly young, but we have like a couple transfers.
That will be a big.
It's gonna
tough.
be
Yeah.
really tough. It's gonna be really
Especially
tough.
week one,
running
when
backs,
you're
too.
going into Ohio State.
No,
I know, I love
I'm
it.
scared.
Our defensive
That's gonna
line.
be-
I mean,
No,
it's going to be electric.
I'm most worried about that
I
for
can't
sure.
wait to talk about that game. It's months away.
But next, we're gonna go into the Georgia Bulldogs. I kind of hate playing them there, but look, I kind of like what I saw out of Gunnar Stockton. I feel like he showed in the playoffs that he has the ability. I think his team around him kind of failed more than he personally did. I also think that Kirby Smart did an unbelievable job during the offseason. So they lost Malachi Starks and their other big defensive guy,
Walker.
Jalen Walker. And they then replaced him with one of the top edge rushers from Army, who's averaging 8.5 sacks a game.
Oh, Michael Williams did.
Michael Williams too, on top of Jalen Walker. Yeah, you were thinking
Oh.
of Michael Williams. Jalen Walker's a linebacker, but they also.
Oh, yeah, what did I
lost
say?
him.
Lost them all.
No, you
Oh,
said Jalen Walker. They did lose him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
they
okay.
lost 3 players.
Yeah, but anyways, I think he did a good job of filling in that spot. Obviously, it's 1 for 3
How
people,
can you
but
transfer from Army, dude? I saw that. That's just a side note.
because it's a contract, huh, with the U.S. government.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I've never seen a
it's
military academy person transfer to like a power
That's a
school.
good point.
I have no idea. If someone in the comments, if you know if this has
Does
ever
the school
happened,
No,
have
that's-
like a ROTC
That's
program?
that's Kirby Smart, and that's
Yeah, it might be
that's
something.
is
That's
Kirby
the SEC for you. They move
you
different.
put in a word with like a general from Georgia.
Yeah, you just go.
Just, like,
you just
sign
go-
this paper.
you go,
Sergeant.
we need the good old boys back.
Sorry
we
to
didn't,
cut you off.
didn't make it
Yeah.
as far as we want. Need the good old boys. But next we're gonna go. You're gonna like this. Go Clemson.
Woo!
I mean the Tigers, man.
Number one in
First
your
time
heart.
we've seen them hit the transfer portal, and they did it in pretty
yeah,
much
baby.
a spectacular fashion. I also, Dabo leads his impressions based off his character, but he also is a really smart and great coach. I trust that he's going to be able to kind of rebuild that system. Yes, his past 3 years were pretty tough, but they weren't utilizing the biggest thing in college football, which is the transfer portal. Now that they use it, I think he's going to be able to really make those tools effective. For his Ohio State, Ohio State is fantastic. They deserve all of their credit, all of their marbles. The only reason why they're at 4 for me is because they lost so many vets, and also both of their offensive and defensive coordinator. It kind of just worries me a little bit. Only I think Ryan Day will figure it out, but I think it's going to be tough sledding in the beginning. Just personal opinion.
Does it have anything to do with who they play in the beginning of the season?
No, it actually does not,
Probably
because
not.
I think we're going to lose that game.
Fair enough.
And that
So
I
good,
think
good sledding.
I
The
think
confidence Mike has in his
well, I think
Makes
that's-
sense why Texas is above us.
I mean, we're playing away in their home, and we have a weak offensive line without
it's
experience.
a noon game.
It's gonna be
Do
gonna
we
be
know
tough.
the
But
early spread on that game? Continue. I'll look
I think it's 4.5.
yeah. Anyways,
favored.
anyways, I'm gonna go number 5, Penn State. Honestly, kind of because of Drew Lar. I'm not a big fan of Drew Lar, but also because of Jim Knowles. I think he's extremely smart, and Penn State already has a good base and foundation for defense. I think he's just gonna fortify that a lot more. Next is gonna be purely based off their schedule. Hear me out here. Notre Dame. I don't necessarily think Notre Dame is going to be the type of team to make it to a championship again, or honestly make it past the first round of the playoffs, in my personal opinion. But their schedule is so easy that I genuinely feel like they're going to just look really good to everyone because of that. In my opinion, the only real difficult game they play is week 1 at Miami.
Really?
In my opinion, I think they're going to beat Arkansas. I don't think any of Northwestern or the ACC teams, NC State might be a question.
Maybe
Hold up.
If
I
you
looked
want
this
to
up.
say
Maybe I looked this
it'll be
up.
hard.
I'm pulling it up. Let's see. They play quickly. Notre Dame schedule. Pull up.
Rutgers, I know they play.
They play Miami,
Arkansas.
Texas A&M, Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford.
First
I
2 games are tough.
Yeah, it's
okay.
not-
I do
first
think
two
A&M.
games.
I think
After
A&M
that,
is
it's
going to
pretty
be tough.
easy.
And then maybe the only questionable one is
like
Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Syracuse
I
second
I was
to
gonna
last
say
swing.
SC's always just a rival.
SC,
they play
yeah.
every year.
Last year was close.
They beat. That game was close for most of the game. The
Until
final
the
score
pick
didn't
six
look
on the
close.
line,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I could definitely be wrong. Just personally looking
Hey,
at their
I'm at
schedule, I
3.
kind of thought that they would run the gauntlet on that.
I think so, too.
So that's kind of how I feel. Number 7, LSU. Go other Tigers. GAUX Tigers. I think Nussie, with all the experience, is gonna just be able to kind of do something that's meaningful. Shout out Nussie. Number 8, South Carolina. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Lenore Seller is a beast, and Evan Seward is also, or Dylan Seward's also a beast. Really the only two guys I actually am familiar with, but they're monsters in their own regard. So give them credit. 9, again, based strictly off their scheduling, but also because, Kurt Signet's the man. Indiana
Wow.
Hoosiers. I think, so the Indiana Hoosiers have the 3rd easiest schedule in the Big Ten. And similarly, I think they're just going to run the gauntlet on it. I kind of have faith that Kurt Signet will figure it out. Also realize that Curtis Rourke was so just stagnant in the pocket, and their new quarterback is extremely mobile. I think it's going to open him up to not get sacked as much as Curtis Rourke was. So that's going to be my 9. And lastly, but certainly, actually they are leastly, is going to be Miami. I honestly didn't even really want to put him on my list, but Carson Beck is a transfer there, and you kind of got to just expect him to do well. So I have them at 10.
Wow. Well, there you have it. I mean, what do you guys think were the biggest surprises there? I was mostly surprised, to be completely honest. I thought Georgia was a hot take for me at 2. A lot of the early ESPN lists had them at 9. I saw one of Georgia at 13. People were super off Georgia, but it seems like we are all kind of.
What number did you have Ohio State at?
3.
I'm blown away that there's no one in the top 2 for Ohio State out of all you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Again, mine is only
Every
based
team
off
lost
the
a
loss
bunch
of
of players.
coaching staff.
we
different
added
if you
Matt
lose-
Patricia on defense, who's already a generational.
But it's
He's actually
essentially
felt that too, but
it's just. I mean, does anyone else have Ohio State in the top? 3?
No. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
at 4.
I'm just worried
Well,
about
for me, it's
personnel.
essentially a top
4.
2.
I have them at 4.
We're all gonna put our teams 1. Every
That's
single one of
That's
us put
straight
our
bias.
team 1.
No, that's straight bias.
So then it's
Yeah.
okay, Ohio
Okay.
State, Texas is neck and neck. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
you
Texas
could
over
probably,
Ohio State.
you could easily talk me into Ohio State's this much better.
I think.
in my opinion,
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
in my opinion, I thought Alabama was a hot take only because
You hate DeBoer.
Well, he also hasn't proven it in the SEC. And if you look at a team like Georgia, Georgia didn't make it the way that they wanted to last year, but they still have Kirby Smart and all of Georgia. Alabama
because you don't have
I mean,
Bama in
I
your
put
top
Georgia.
10.
I put
No.
Georgia as my
Oh,
3.
that's
I don't know
bullshit.
what
Yeah.
I put Georgia as my 3. I understand that, but Bama's they barely missed the college football playoffs. Had the worst season they've ever had, literally ever.
But-
and they've only can get better.
But don't you kind of credit that to their coaching personnel,
was
or do
gonna
you just
say-
only think that it's because it was an unlucky season?
I was gonna say, I think the Bama thing. I'm with you. I think Bama's going to be good, but comparing Saban to the new coach is, I think, going to be tough in general.
Versus
No,
Kirby
but we're not
Smart,
talking. We're,
Bond.
Saban's top 3 conversations. This is almost making the college football playoffs conversation. Top 12, top 10. I mean, you're
Well,
the
where'd
top
you
12
have
are
Bama?
pretty much
Where'd you have Bama?
7.
I had him at 9.
He has him at 13.
They're not on my list.
Not on your list.
I had him at 7.
So average. Yeah, I guess it's just Mike not on their list. I don't know if it's the hottest take. I think a lot of these schools, to be honest, this year, Ryan's been saying this for a minute now, but this next year I do think is going to be an actual crapshoot. So it doesn't surprise me that our lists are way different at the top because, I get the Ohio State thing, they're coming off a win, but we don't know how good Julian Sand's going to be. We think he'll be good, right? But it's the same thing. I mean, we've kind of seen Arch. But if you look at a lot of these other teams, we don't know how good Ty Simpson's going to be at Alabama.
Yeah.
But there apparently was a full-on quarterback.
That's why I'm so
competition
surprised
there.
that Ohio State's below these other teams. Georgia, no clue.
But Julian Sand,
Georgia-
we haven't seen him get snaps.
Georgia-
No, but we have.
I feel like Georgia, we
we've
kinda know.
literally been one of the best teams.
Georgia, we kind of know about quarterback, though, right?
How.
But
Gunnar
we've
was
seen him play.
Yeah,
he's been as mid can get.
But we've seen what he can do. So you can base it off that. If he does that and Georgia gets better running the ball, they're probably going to be a really good team.
It's also mid off of a team that made it to a national championship.
Georgia?
He wasn't on that team.
No,
They played
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, who went to a national championship.
Oh,
we could do a
so
bunch
they're
of
gonna
what
look
ifs.
a lot
We could do a
worse.
bunch
He
of-
came in against Texas and looked really good and beat him. And then he
But that was.
looked
I think
okay.
that-
I mean,
he
he
did-
honestly did look
he did look good.
decent against Notre Dame, to be honest.
Wait, especially in the second half. I mean, his
A
team
lot
let
of
him
drive
down.
agree.
touchdowns.
He impressed me. That's why I kind of he's one that I at least know more info about. I feel than some of these other teams. Notre Dame, I totally will stand by as a crapshoot. I have no idea what CJ Carr is going to look like.
Their schedule's so easy they can't mess it up.
They totally
can't.
can. They totally can mess it up, but I just don't think they will. I also think though their offensive line should be insane, and they have Jeremiah Love, who's
Yeah, that
on
helps.
most mock draft boards going in that Ashton Genty-esque pick number, 6 to 8. and like he's supposed to be the guy. We'll see if that
Really
comes true.
quick, that clip of Jeremiah Love running through Abdul Carter is probably the greatest football
And
clip
5 other players.
of all time. I mean, that thing is epic.
Generational bust.
Epic.
You think bust?
If he goes 4 or top 5, he's going to be a generational bust.
Really?
Yes. Guaranteed.
I like him.
Well, is that only
So
because
a lot of running backs that
is
have gone
that
behind
because
Notre
running
Dame's
backs don't
offensive
go
line.
that high?
No, it's because a bunch of running backs that have been behind Notre Dame and looked that well.
Kyron,
Whoa, really?
he's great.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Oh wait, sorry. What was your
A
point?
bunch of
I thought
running
you said
backs
they
could
don't
have
do
been
well
behind
in
the
the
Notre.
NFL.
No, I mean you have one. There's your one, but also it's like how good is Kyron? Like he's never going to be top 3, and that's like what you're picking at as a generational pick.
Hey, go Rams.
Yeah,
I think he will.
That's nothing against
I don't
Kyron
ever,
Williams.
I don't ever
Okay,
advocate
okay.
for running backs to get drafted that high. I'm just saying for projecting college production next year, I think he's going to be pretty good as a
I
running back.
think Riley Leonard.
Do you think Arch will be a bust?
No.
Bust is an interesting word. Bust to what people think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people think he's gone. So
I think
yes,
the
I think it's a bust
expectations
because
are
he's
too
not
high.
going to be gone. But if people are like, oh, this is a top 3 college or top 3 high school prospect that's going to be unbelievable, probably top pick, like Cade Klubnik. If they looked at Arch the way they look at Cade, like, hey, he's developing really well in Clemson. Like, we think he could be a number 1 pick. Clemson's jumping up the leaderboards. He could be good. I'd be like, yeah, like he's going to probably do that.
Be
Like,
similar.
But like if Cade does average, it's like, okay, like he might have a good year if he finishes like 6 or 7. If Arch Manning does it, it's like, wow, he's not the number 1 pick. Oh my
Yeah.
God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think there's a world where Arch Manning fails. And I
think
don't-
there's multiple
But I don't
worlds.
think it matters what his stats are. Like, people will. The whole point in. When we're talking about failing, right, we're not talking about winning games for Texas. Right? Because if him succeeding means they have to win a natty, then he's not going to succeed.
Huh.
But I'm talking about him as a prospect.
Terrible take.
Texas is never going to win a natty. When you guys haven't made it to the college football national championship since the
20
playoffs have been invented.
25 years or whatever.
Or even since they've been invented. We'll just do recent history. So that's not changing anytime soon. But
terrible
Arch as a
take.
prospect, I think people really just look at what he can be. I think you could even take his footage from this past season, put together some of the highlight clips, and he would be drafted first overall. Because he's super fast, super athletic, Manning name, big arm, pretty accurate guy. The little like fumbles here and there as a true sophomore playing or redshirt freshman, whatever, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about Arch. And one last team I wanted to touch on because they were mentioned in Mario's list is Oklahoma. I think that's
I love Oklahoma.
Oklahoma has been terrible since
Yeah.
Brent Venables took over from a record perspective. I don't know who makes their schedules. Probably someone from
Not fair.
Texas. But like they actually
Probably
play,
one of those cocoa traders.
maybe.
Cow.
They actually have the hardest schedules every year. I don't care what the analytics say. They're playing like Bama, Georgia, Texas,
South Carolina, Auburn.
Texas A&M, like routine. Just
Yeah.
that's just a normal schedule. So I think 90% of the teams that make the college football playoffs are going to lose a couple of those games.
Yeah.
Because all those teams make the college football playoffs. You saw something in Oklahoma. Just expand on for a sec. Is it strictly Mateer? You like just what they've done with this team? Do you think they can win a lot of games?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of just initially my belief in Brent Venables. I know initially when he took over, it was pretty rough, but then that second year, actually
Everyone
wasn't,
left, and then he brought people in.
But then that second year he coached, it wasn't the worst.
They beat Texas, right?
They beat Texas that
Gabriel
year.
had a good year.
And Gabriel had a good year. It was the first year he really had a good quarterback. And he actually got to like choose his defense. I think this next year when they have John Mateer, is it John?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mateer
Beast.
and they're gonna have like actually an offense this time. Not who was their guy they had last year?
Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold.
Jackson
Who
Arnold
was
who
hurt, and the other guy, yeah.
who was just
Isn't he on Auburn now?
That's
yeah.
why I love
but Arnold was horrible, and it just kept their
was pretty
defense on.
5-star too.
Like
which is,
pretty much the entire game because their defense last year. That's one thing. Like that's my belief in Brent Venables is the defense is always going to be at least adequate and a lot of times maybe even slightly above average. A lot of times last year their defense would play great in the beginning. They'd get like a pick six and like be up 7-0 for like almost an entire half and then like maybe give up a touchdown like towards
It's hard
the
when
end.
the other team has
But
the
then
ball in
like
the game, too.
yeah, but then their offense just goes 3 and out consistently.
Yeah.
The defense is on the field the entire time. I think if they actually can put up points and put pressure on teams to score, and then their defense doesn't have to be on the field 24/7, I think they can be a big surprise.
Let me remind you really quick, just a quick tidbit.
why don't you remind him, Mike?
Yeah.
Second to
Remind him,
last
Mike.
week with Jackson Arnold fully playing, Oklahoma lost 49-0 to, I believe, Auburn.
Well, Jackson Arnold was horrible. So that's my point.
What did they do to Alabama? Who you have in your top 10?
Regardless,
How can you pull out the Auburn game and I'll talk about the Alabama game?
it wasn't a blowout.
Alabama?
They didn't blow him out.
Yes, they did.
What was the score, Mike?
I think it was like
They didn't blow 'em
31-9, 31
What was the score?
24-3.
What was the score,
They
Mike?
blew them out. Bama barely moved the ball the whole game. That was the
3 points.
That was
I stand
the
corrected.
That was the Jalen Milroe like oh shit moment because
Yeah.
they were in that playoff conversation.
That's when he went from
they
like
were top 10.
potential first rounder to the fourth.
No, seriously. And what Oklahoma did to them, I forget what it was they did. I think they just like spied him.
Yeah.
I think they did, like brought
We're
pressure,
in
spied
Vegas.
him, and forced him to throw the man on man. We were watching the game like, oh my god, they're gonna scheme. And I remember we even said on the podcast, if Bama were to get selected for the college football playoffs, they're just gonna copy what Oklahoma did on defense.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's how you play against Milroe. Yeah, they definitely blew out Bama.
Yeah.
That's cherry picking from a Texas.
Like
guy.
I
It's
said,
not
I think their
cherry-picking.
defense was actually like halfway
No, I like
decent.
the take. I like it.
So.
Well, there you have it. Let us know who we left out of our top 10 that we didn't talk about. No one said Florida. DJ Logway,
Yeah.
quarterback that people
many
are
problems.
obsessed with.
Too many problems.
There's a lot of interesting teams that we could get in there. Yeah.
Another team that we left out. Vandy, Diego Pavia
Okay.
for
Oh,
president.
no.
All right.
A real
Diego
team we left
Pavia
out,
for
though,
president.
BYU.
I thought about him, but no.
You threw Arizona State in the honorable mention. No one had him top 10. People are obsessed with Sam Levitt. We're talking about quarterbacks.
I
People
think
are
no
obsessed.
one said
losing
anything
Scott
about the
obsessed
Big
with Kenny
12.
Dillingham.
So Big 12 is going to get in.
There's a
No,
reason.
Big 12 is gonna
Yeah,
get in.
saying
That was
no
my
one
point.
said
But then
they're-
also I was like, you know what?
I know you don't want to rank them, but you got this is how
I honorable mention Colorado.
Yeah,
Oh
gross.
God.
No, BYU probably would have been my honorable mention. I only did UCLA for
Real teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
shout out one time.
Yeah,
But
well,
I like SMU just because I think outside of Clemson, the ACC is trash.
Walk. Yeah, I agree.
We'll see.
So they just have to play
shout out
one
Georgia
game.
Tech. But let us know
Shout
what
out
teams we
Syracuse.
left out of our top 10, what you thought about these lists. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Who is the best team heading into the preseason of college football? Because it's May right now. June, July, August. It's only 3 months, baby.
We're almost there.
And then we get college football.
almost there.
If you're new here, drop subscribe, drop a like, and always share with a friend. Let us know what you think of the video. Stick around with us. We're talking football all off season. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Turn the notification bells on.